So I'm packing to go camping. And as I'm doing that, it's also the last day to, well, the last technical day to register the kids for school, to decide, like, we're there. It's the deadline. Are you doing in person or are you not? And I had decided, as I told you guys, that I was going to send them back to school, knowing that if things went wrong, that school, in-person school would be stopped anyway, and we'd be back to being at home. And I had made myself comfortable enough with that decision to say, yep, this is what we're doing. But then, oh my gosh, Utah, what is wrong with you, Utah? I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with Utah. There's some good things about Utah too, okay? There are. But Utah, what the hell are you doing? Do you not care about, I am so, I don't even know, guys. So we had been waiting to the last minute to see, you know, what other things might happen. I knew already that our district was not planning on putting out their guidelines until the 1st of August, which was already frustrating. But then our state, great state of Utah, put out their guidelines today. And I don't know what kind of circus they are conducting, and who is, I mean, is it Governor Herbert? I don't know. But this is madness. It is insane. Okay. As a parent, I am just flabbergasted. I am shocked. I am pissed off. Now my decision I had made is completely back up in the air. And I'm trying to pack for a couple of days of camping while also trying to make this decision based on what we now have to deal with. So here it is. You're like, okay, what are you freaking out about? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. See if you can wrap your mind around this and help me try to rationalize it, because I'm lost on this one. Nope, no logic here. This is the biggie. There's others, but this is the big one. Under their guidelines, now each school, I guess, can choose, as far as I understand, can choose to do what they want to do. And I would hope that our schools would make a smart choice, but they don't have to, is the key. The schools do not have to tell other parents if a kid in their school, even in their classroom, even in their kids' classroom, they don't have to tell, they don't have to notify any other parents that this kid has been in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID. They don't have to tell them. Not only that, that's bad enough, but the parents of said child, as long as that child has not yet shown any symptoms, I can't believe I'm even saying this out loud and that it's real. I'm shaking. And it's not from too much caffeine, as sometimes is the case. No. These are my kids we're talking about, and teachers and faculty that I personally know and love. Parents can decide to go ahead and send their children to school even if they have been exposed to someone who has tested positive, as long as that child is not currently showing symptoms. And nobody knows that that's happening. There is an opportunity to be put on a high-risk list, and so then there is the possibility that you will be told, but only if it is known that your child, let's talk about elementary school children here and how close contact they are in all the time. But only if your child is known to have been in close contact, so within 6 feet of that child for more than 15 minutes. They're stuck in the same class all day. No assemblies, no lunchroom. They will get recess where they're allowed to take off their masks. But unless that child tests positive or starts showing symptoms, they can be around anyone and everyone else. Not that I want to have to segregate kids or force kids out of their education. No, I feel this for everybody's kids. And you know, if someone has to go to work to support their family, which I absolutely understand, and that is a huge consideration and a problem with the whole situation, but if they have to go to work and risk losing their job if they don't, and then have a child who, yes, has been exposed, but isn't showing symptoms and seems to be fine, they're going to send them to school. They're going to send them to school. You know that's going to happen. So they can. They're allowed to go ahead and send them to school. And unless that kid starts getting sick, you're not going to know. You're not going to know. And then there are limits on how many kids it takes getting sick in order to shut down a classroom or the school are absolutely absurd. Absurd. It is the most ridiculous. How are you going to do your contact tracing? How? Kids are bouncing all over the place. Yeah, they said there's going to be seating charts and whatever. These poor teachers, how are they going to do this? They are not getting paid enough to do this. They didn't sign on for this. And don't tell me, oh, well, then they don't care about kids if they're not willing to do this, or they should go get a different job. No, okay? No. I love our teachers. I am personal friends with so many of our teachers, and I have worked with them as a room mom over these years and years and years, and I love and adore them, and they have kids and families of their own that I am also trying to think about. They do their job to the best of their ability, and they are being thrown into this situation just drowning. How are they supposed to stay on top of that? The kids are just going to be glued to their seats? And we're just somehow going to make sure they never come in contact. But even if they do, I mean, does the teacher are they even allowed to know that a child in their classroom has been in contact with someone who tested positive? Are they allowed to know that? Doesn't say so in the guidelines. It's not listed. So, how do I, as a parent, make an informed decision when I am told information will purposely be withheld from me? How am I supposed to make a decision, a responsible, informed decision for myself, my family, my children? How? How am I supposed to do that? And what is the point of all the contact tracing, the social distancing, the masks, all of these precautions that we're taking if we are knowingly allowing kids that might very well be sick to just jump right in? Unless, of course, they start showing signs. Well, by the time they've shown signs, they've already exposed everybody. Oh, this has been the hardest thing for me, this whole thing, because I have vacillated. I've gone back and forth to either end of the extreme, as I'm sure a lot of us have. Like, oh my gosh, this whole thing is overblown, blah, 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 to we're all going to die. I have tried for the last month, maybe 2 months, to find that middle ground of being responsible, being accountable, being safe, trying to stay on top of whatever the newest data is as the situation evolves and we learn more every day. I have been trying to stay on top of that and exercise my best judgment based on what we know today. Not to get too far this way, not to get too far this way into any conspiracy theory camps, any of that madness and nonsense and my rights and you're gonna die because it's my right and all this bullshit, okay? I've done my very best to walk this middle line where my priority is taking care of my children, my family, and then doing my best to take care of those around me. We've been taking all the precautions, doing what we're supposed to do, as far as we know, that we're supposed to do right now. It's almost like, what's the point? What is the point? So, yeah, I had decided I'm sending my kids back to school. Look at all these precautions that they're taking. I can make do with these certain things. On the playground, my kids can keep their masks on. We will find a way to make this work because my kids want to be with their friends and they want to have that social interaction and be at school. And I felt like it was best for the mental health of our family unit. And now I'm back up in the air and have no time to reevaluate and reassess because I have to make that decision by 5 o'clock today. And it's not just that I'm making a decision for right now. I'm making a decision the way I see it. As a parent, I am making the decision to willfully be uninformed. I'm choosing to let go of that power over my most important job in my life, which is to take care of my kids. I am willfully saying, okay, state of Utah, you're in charge. You let me know. I mean, my kid might be sitting right next to someone whose grandma, you know, is going to be in the hospital next week. But, well, I guess you're saying kids, you know, are less likely to contract it or spread it or whatever. I mean, that's the data a couple weeks ago, although now I'm just seeing news stories about this 9-year-old girl that just died. But I mean, it's only one out of how many hundreds of thousands of kids. And I mean, hundreds and thousands of kids die from other stuff all the time. So I guess it shouldn't matter. And I should be willing, for the greater good of the economy and life, to take the chance that my kid might be that one kid that dies. Oh, well. Because it will be somebody's kid. And I'm no more important, and my kids are no more important than anybody else's. So to send them back to school, which I had decided to do, is me willfully, knowingly saying, well, I guess I'm okay with it being one of my kids. How do I say that? So that brings us back to, okay, well, homeschool? Can I mentally and emotionally handle that? Can my kids mentally and emotionally handle that? What will be the outcome of that? Are the benefits worth the risks? What is this going to do to them psychologically? What's it going to do to all of us? What's it going to do to the quality of their education? I am thrown back into this lion's den of considerations that, you know, pick your poison or the lesser of these evils that I have to choose from. And I don't know. I don't know. The one thing I do have going for me, even though they said that today is the deadline, I know for a fact that they're not going to turn people away on Monday who decide then that, having seen everything, all the details from what the state is putting out, and then having reviewed the details that the district is eventually going to put out on the 1st, parents might make different choices. And the school districts are going to have to work with that. And so, excuse me, there is part of me that says, well, fuck it, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait. And I'm going to see, you know, Monday or Tuesday, after I've had time out in nature and swimming and being with my kids that I love and adore, and we can talk as a family over the campfire about where we're all at and what is most important to us and how we're feeling about these, you know, potential risks, and then the risks of staying home and all of it, and kind of suss it all out together and feel it out, and then try to then come to an informed decision about our choice whether or not to be informed next week. And then go from there. I really, honestly, at this point, and thank you so much if you're still watching this ranting parental lunacy that I have fallen into today. Thank you for being my sounding board. I am so grateful that I have this little channel, this little side thing where I can be 100% just me. You get me unfiltered and thinking out loud, and it is so incredibly effective and helpful for me. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I maybe should have thrown a disclaimer in there, but I've said it to everybody. This is the other channel, guys. This is adults only, and you're going to get just whatever happens to be going on up here. So I think I've sufficiently warned everyone. Warnings. That's the thing. Warnings. Aren't you so glad that you got warnings, because most likely you came from one of our other channels, our, you know, family-oriented channels, and got a warning that this is an adults-only, unfiltered channel. And you were able to make an informed me and my bunny ears today, an informed decision about your viewing choices. And that's just viewing choices. We're talking about my kids. I don't know. Tell me, oh, please tell me in the comments, what would you do? Considering these current facts, guidelines put out by the state of Utah, or if you happen to be a parent with school-aged children in Utah, please go ahead and tell me in the comments, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now that we have these new guidelines put out by the state, what are we going to do? Are you going to call and ask your school? I know I'm going to. Ask them, hey, how do these guidelines affect how you're going to run the show? Are you, and then that's going to be a huge factor in helping me make some choices is, and I feel so bad for the folks at the desk and for the principal, the things they're going to have to go through, because there's going to be major fallout from this announcement today. You know there will be. The stuff they're putting up with, I mean, oh my God, they all deserve a bottle of champagne, roses, chocolates, I mean, all of it. And like a vacation to Hawaii, completely paid for putting up with all this and sticking it out for their love of our kids and love of education. But anyway, I am going to get in touch and I'm going to say, hey, how are you planning to work with this guideline? And is this something you will be employing, or are you going to take the responsible route and let parents know, hey, you know, little Sam, his grandma tested positive and they were on, you know, vacation together. They maybe didn't stay in the same hotel room, but you know, they were in the same outdoor eating space. They were in the same whatever, this, that, and the other go-kart place that they went to. They were together. And there's no guarantee that there was not a time that they didn't get within 6 feet of each other. And then also, I hate to say it, but how many parents are really going to be honest? How many are going to be absolutely truthful, especially when their job and their livelihood is on the line, which I understand is a huge consideration. But how many parents are going to be dissuaded from telling the truth because of the other considerations in their lives? You know, Sam might have hugged and hugged grandma and got a kiss on the cheek, but it wasn't for 15 minutes, but it was a kiss on the cheek. And then of course Sam is touching his face and doing this and that and playing with cousins and putting his fingers in his mouth to taste the last of that pudding. Are parents going to tell that? Are they going to disclose that? Some, yeah, some will, because they might be incredibly fortunate like me and be a stay-at-home mom who's able to say, well, you know, my husband's still going to go to work, whatever. I will, we'll inform his work of the situation and they'll deal with it how they'll deal with it. But you know, I'm able. And so I'm in this ridiculously lucky situation where I can stay home with my kid and whatever. But not everyone is able to do that. And they're going to have to make very difficult choices. Very difficult choices. I need to know. And so that's the thing. Even though I need to know what the school's stance is going to be on this, I am still left thinking, but what about the parents? I wish I could say I trust them to make the right choices for their kids and all the other kids their kids will come in contact with and for the teachers and the faculty. But we know that's not true because we've been outside and we've been to the grocery store and we have seen that no, when not specifically forced, there is a large percentage of the population that is just not going to follow the rules. Even when it comes to their own kids and kids as teachers and fellow kids in the neighborhood's lives, they're not going to follow the rules. So what am I supposed to do? I've got to finish packing for camping. And then I've got to get in touch with the school. Will I even be able to get through? I wonder. I don't know. I could use some, not just support, but empathy, fellowship right now in this cesspool that we are trying to survive in, that is the current state of affairs here. And for so many of us, just knowing that I'm not alone, it's very helpful. And I am going to just completely open this up to your advice, good, bad, and otherwise. I mean, if you're going to go conspiracy theory and, you know, shit like that, I'll just delete you. I'll delete your comment because we don't need that. There's enough of that. If I want that, I'll go on Facebook and it's all over the place. But your honest thoughts as a parent, whether you are currently raising kids or you already did, or you will be in the future. I mean, what are your thoughts? Or if you happen to be a medical professional, I am going to be in touch with my brother who is a medical professional. And I'm going to ask him, hey, what are you telling your patients? What would you tell your patients if they're in this situation? And then I'm going to reassess and reevaluate. And I'm going to have a hell of a good time out camping, swimming, relaxing, and try to get back to the place of absolute peace and happiness that I was at this morning. Because I was in such a wonderful place, having had my little getaway to California where we social distanced and I was so incredibly careful. Gonna try to get back to that happy place in my mind and in my heart and go and have a wonderful couple of days with my family camping, my husband and babies. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for being my sounding board. Thank you for being part of this little circle we have here of transparency and mutual respect and support and kindness, because we need this right now. I need this, and I know I'm not alone. We need this kind of space right now. This little bubble where we can drink from each other's cups in a very sanitary, socially distanced way and help each other to press through this quagmire that is the year 2020. I'll see you all real soon. Bye.